welcome to HITC Sport and...
Oh, where's the Irish guy? Has he fallen down a well?
Yeah, for the first time in over a year, I took a break for, one day, and everyone seemed to lose their minds.
Oh no, how am I gonna get on with the rest of my day without hearing some random Irish guy scream about Paul McShane over my morning shreddies?
But don't worry lads, okay, I am back. And I was only gone for about 15 hours. But don't worry lads, okay, I've come back with the milk, dropped the abandonment issues, let's get on with the video. Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and who is ready to cry? Is what my uncle used to say to me in his basement. But anyway, in these dark times, here I am today. I'm not even gonna let you have football. I'm gonna instantly chew and gnaw with my hamster little teeth through your hope and optimism in your football team. What I'm gonna do today is take a look at where every current Premier League club is points-wise and shut all of you up by digging into the archives and finding one pretty underwhelming team who actually had more points at this stage of the season than you currently have. Because I put out a tweet recently saying how I thought the table was lying to us, that nobody really deserves to be in the position they're in, that this is just a mental season. A season so crazy that were it a person, they'd be eating their morning toast off the underside of a shoe. So let's just try and dampen the hopes of a few high-flying fans getting carried away and thinking their team is actually better than it is. Maybe this will stop the media tipping Leicester City and Aston Villa to win the goddamn league. So yeah, let's take a look at a Premier League team of the past who was worse than your current one, but who actually had more points after the same amount of games played. Right, let's go. Arsenal, Watford 2018. Okay, fair enough. There aren't too many Arsenal fans soaking their eyeballs in hype right now, and why would they? After some of the football served up this season, you're probably closer to soaking your eyeballs in Tesco bought bleach. Don't actually do that, by the way. But Arsenal have turned it around in recent weeks, with some Gunners fans trading wins over West Brom and Brighton as though they just had their knob licked by a cat. Christ up, some of these fans are wetting their pants over the youth so much they've probably been mass banned from local playgrounds. But still, sorry to burst your bubble lads, but you have 23 points from 17 games of football. Go back 2 years ago and Watford under Javi Gracia had 24 points from the same number of games. Anyway, this is the same Watford team, losing 4-0 home to Bournemouth that season, losing 18 games that season, including an embarrassing 6-0 in the FA Cup final. So don't forget, after 17 games of the season, Mikel Arteta's kids are still being outperformed by Man City's spunk rag, a team with Will Hughes in midfield and a fat Troy Deeney stuffed up front. Maybe now you'll stop mouthing off on Twitter. Aston Villa, West Ham 2014. Look, Aston Villa are swimming in hype right now, and don't get me wrong, 26 points from 15 games is pretty damn good. It's 11 more than they had at this stage last season. But go easy, I've seen people talk them up as if they're a credible Champions League contender. Just no. I tell you, if Jack Grealish sings the Champions League anthem next season, I would happily spend 3 days sleeping naked in a tent. Listen, to quell a bit of the delusion, let me take you back to 2014, when West Ham under Sam Allardyce bulldozed their way to 27 points from 15 games. It was a decent start. Kevin Nolan and Andy Carroll were flinging elbows about the park, but please, it was a mid-table outfit to finish 12th that season, with Big Sam being replaced in May. So before people start tipping Jack Grealish for a knighthood and backing Dean Smith to be belting out the Champions League anthem this time next season, just remember they're still being outperformed by that ugly West Ham team under Big Sam. Brighton QPR 2014. QPR in 2014 were an utter joke. Back in the Premier League and just as bad as they were the first time in 2012. 8 wins all season, bottom of the league, but yeah, after 17 games, Charlie Austin had held them to 17 points. They were 16th in the league, and it was more than what Brighton have now. I've seen people talking of Graham Potter as if he's some new age footballing god. Yes, I'm looking at you, Chris Hamill. He's about to turn Solly March into the next Danny Alves, transform Ben White into the English Gerard Piqué. And yet, newsflash, forget the silky hipster football, you have less points after 17 games than that QPR team who had a past centre-back partnership of Rio Ferdinand and Stephen Cocker, something that was easier to penetrate than one of Bill Cosby's Tinder dates. Sorry, that was too dark. So please, if any footballing hipster tries to tell you that Potter is a footballing genius, then just reply, less points than QPR. Actually, go to Chris Hamill now and tweet him that. Maybe then he'll get the hint. Burnley, Sunderland 2012. And Sunderland in 2012 were utterly hopeless. It was a kamikaze, chaotic season, heading for the slopes under Martin O'Neill, before Paolo Di Canio's madness kept them up by the width of a dog's nostril hair. This is a team who went 9 league games without a win, who conceded 6 goals at Villa Park, a team who had 1 single win by mid-November. It was a complete nuthouse and a minor miracle they didn't get relegated. Yes, Burnley have underperformed this season with 16 points from 15 games, with that pathetic Sunderland team getting 1 more point than them. But trust me, if these two sides were able to meet in competition, oh, Sean Dyche's men would wipe the floor with that bunch of wet wipes. Christ, they had Titus Bramble in defence, and Jack Colback played 40 times that season. Chelsea, Hull City 2008. remember the hype about Chelsea's transfers this summer? You had people talking up their title chances as if they were permanently stuffed in the top 2 all season. Some Chelsea fans are trying to delude themselves that the league table is lying to them. That is just a bad run of form. Lads, nothing rams home just how underwhelming Chelsea have been this season than this. Your billionaire assembled squad is currently being outperformed by the Hull City team of 2008. Yes, Hull, Phil Brown and his headset, a team who were nearly chewed up and relegated that season, who stayed up by just 1 point. Even they, after 17 games played, and with a club wage bill less than what James Corden spends in 1 hour at Burger King, even they had more points than this Chelsea team. This was a Hull team who lost 5-0 at home to Wigan in their second home game that season, and who ended up losing 20 times that year. People talk about how Thiago Silva has revolutionised this Chelsea team. Yeah, Phil Brown was picking Paul McShane at the back, and even they got more points. Crystal Palace, West Brom 2016. I'm sorry, but West Brom under Tony Pulis were not anything special. And yet after 17 games of the 16-17 season, they had clawed their way to 23 points. This was a squad in just 18 months off relegation. And I 100% believe this Crystal Palace squad is streets ahead of them in quality. The likes of Wilfried Zaha and Ebereki Eze, they would destroy this Baggies team. But yeah, Palace still have less points than them. EVERTON Portsmouth 2007. Yeah, this is the year where every man, woman and child talked up Everton as actual credible title challengers. And yes, Carlo Ancelotti is a world-class coach, but he doesn't have a magic wand. The only way you're ever getting Mason Holgate to win the league is if you're Dumbledore. Yes, it's been a good start. 9 wins, including big victories against Tottenham, Chelsea, and Arsenal. But there's no better way to bring you back down to earth than to realise you actually have less points at this stage of the season than in Portsmouth in 2007. Look, that was a good team built by Harry Redknapp, and they did end up winning the FA Cup that season, but I am sorry. A team with Bajani up front was never going to compete to win the league, and that is what I've been hearing about Everton and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. It's been a great start and a drastic improvement on Marco Silva's reign of terror. I'm not putting Ancelotti down at all, but title challenges? They're being outperformed by a club who were just 2 years away from finishing bottom of the league. Fulham Watford 2006. Okay, this Fulham team isn't actually as bad as I thought. They're not chained at the foot of the league, and Scott Parker isn't on the verge of tears every week. They're actually in with a fighting chance of survival. But don't get carried away. 11 points from 15 games. It's nothing special. And do you remember that Watford team who collapsed during the 06-07 season? Winding up bottom of the league and relegated in March? Even they had 12 points from 15 games. So keep your feet on the ground. You're not out of the woods by a long shot. Leeds, Sheffield United 2019. Yeah, we're seeing this season that Sheffield United aren't actually all that good. I know I said Leeds wouldn't finish top half, but lads, I don't care that they currently have 2 points less than the Blaze did last season. I don't care. I know that this courageous team under Marcelo Bielsa is miles better than Sheffield United have ever been under Chris Wilder. Yes, I know the Blaze had 25 points from 17 games last season, as opposed to Leeds United's 23, but please, this Leeds team are levels ahead in quality. But again, I was hearing Leeds fans talk them up for Europe this season. They were all offended in the comment section when I said they wouldn't get top half. Less points than Sheffield United. Leicester, Man City 2007. If one more person tells me that Leicester City are going to challenge for another league title this season, I think I might actually burst an eardrum off my face. Listen, Brendan Rodgers is doing a stellar job at Leicester. But please, this isn't anything revolutionary. It isn't anything we haven't seen before. Am I the only one who sees their inconsistency staring at me in the face? It's a good team, but please, some context. Do you remember Sven-Göran Eriksson, the guy you sacked from Leicester in 2011? He had more points at this stage of the season with Man City, and that was before the oil money in 2007. A season where they conceded 8 goals away to Middlesbrough. Let's not forget, it's a good Leicester team, but less points than Man City pre the makeover, when they had Michael Ball at left back, Darius Vassell up front, and instead of Kevin De Bruyne, we're relying all their hopes on Stephen Ireland. I mean, come on Leicester fans, settle down. Liverpool, Arsenal 2018. Imagine being unable to beat Aston Villa, Everton, Man City, Brighton, Fulham, West Brom, Newcastle and Southampton, and still finding yourself top of the league in January. This has not been vintage Liverpool. 33 points after 17 games. In normal circumstances, this team would not be in with a sniff of winning the league title. And to prove it, Arsenal under Unai Emery in 2018 were 5th in the league after 17 games, also got beat at Southampton in their 17th game, and yet still, even they had 2 more points than Liverpool have right now. Man City, Arsenal 2015. Listen, we all know how good Man City are. They just use Chelsea as a trail of floss to clean their teeth. But still, they have less points than Arsenal did in 2015. You know, when Arsenal came second to Leicester, the season where Gunners fans started bringing out banners and demanding that the legendary coach leave the club forever. An Arsenal team who began the season losing 2-0 home to West Ham, and a team who spent Christmas losing 4-0 at Southampton. That feeble excuse for an Arsenal team. A side who gladly let a teenage Marcus Rashford ruin their title challenge. A team who lost 5-1 away at Bayern Munich. Even they had 30 points from 15 games. Man United, United, Man United 2017. This is the best Manchester United team since Sir Alex Ferguson retired, right? Isn't that the theory that's been chucked about these days? Don't get it wrong, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has done well. 33 points from 16 games is phenomenal work for a team who were 15th in the league in November, but it took this club until 5 days before Christmas to register just their second league goal from open play at Old Trafford this season, and yet still find themselves joint top of the league. I think that just sort of shows you how bizarre this season has been. Apparently this justifies Mourinho's sacking now, right? Now, let's go back to Jose's last full season in charge at Old Trafford, and they had 35 points. Not 33 from 16 games, and that was without the luxury of having Bruno Fernandes in his team. So if you think Solskjaer is now untouchable from the sack, well, Jose wasn't. Newcastle 2004. Okay, there's no danger of any alive Geordie with working pulse daring to hype up this Newcastle team under Steve Bruce. They are painfully aware of how bang average it is, and nothing rams home that fact more than seeing they have 1 point less after 16 games than the Newcastle team under Graham Souness in 2004. The 04 season was a dark chapter in the history of the Magpies, going from 5th under Sir Bobby Robson to winding up 14th in the league under the dour and depressing Souness. But still, that shambles of a team with a defence made of cauliflower and the backbone of a German sausage. After 16 miserable games, this Titus Bramble-inspired starting 11 with a pasted Alan Shearer hobbling about every week, they still had more points than this team under Bruce. Sheffield United, Derby County 2007. Listen, I want to stick up for Sheffield United here. It would be easy to see a team stuck at the foot of the league on 2 points in the middle of January and write them off as a laughable excuse of a team. But no, lads, I don't even think Chris Wilder should be sacked. Sheffield United haven't won a game and they've lost nearly every match. But lads, 11 of those defeats were just 1-goal margins. They fought right until the end of every match. Derby County, by contrast, are the worst Premier League side of all time, despite them having 3 times as many points as the Blades after 16 games. This is a team who conceded 89 goals that season and were the utter whipping boys, losing by 4 goals on 9 or more separate occasions in the league. They conceded 6 in one match on 4 separate occasions. Sure, they beat Newcastle in September, but I'm sorry, no way in hell will the media ever trick me into thinking Sheffield United are the worst top flight team of all time. Never forget the utter pigeon spunk that was Derby County in 07-08. Southampton, Newcastle 2013. Listen, Ralph Hasenhüttl has done an incredible job at Southampton, but please stop talking up outside Champions League qualification. It's 29 points after 17 games. It's brilliant, but it's not anything we haven't seen before. Newcastle in 2013 had more points after this many games, and lads, that wasn't even a good team. They had Paul Dummett at the back. There were Geordie protests actually demanding Alan Pardew get the sack. It wasn't even a great start. They lost 4-0 to Man City, conceded 3 at home to Hull, lost the Tynemere derby to Sunderland, and yet still a ramshackle team with Sammy Amiobi chucked on the wing, Vernon Anita in midfield, and an off-form Papi Cisse up front. Even they had 1 more point after 17 games than Southampton did. Statistically, Hasenhüttl is being outperformed by a guy who kept having to pick Mike Williamson every week. You know, the fella Southampton sacked in League 1? What? Tottenham Everton 2005. Yeah, this one's on me. I was the one who got carried away with Tottenham's great start to the season. Yeah, it was good, but title challenge? They have 4 less points than Everton did in 2005. A solid David Moyes team who did finish in the top 4, but 30 points off the title, and they lost 7-0 at Arsenal in May. I'm pretty sure if you told Mourinho back then, when he was flying high winning the Premier League title after just 1 defeat all season, that in 15 years he'd be putting in a similar performance to what David Moyes was doing that year, he'd probably call the police. West Brom QPR 2012. I think Sam Allardyce is going to keep West Brom up. Don't get me wrong, they've been pretty dreadful this season, but when you think of worst Premier League teams of all time, you don't think of this West Brom team. You know, the team who's left Anfield and the Etihad unbeaten. No. You do definitely think of that overpaid big name QPR in 2012 when they drowned their squad and overpaid big name wasters before finishing bottom of the league under Harry Redknapp. It was a complete mess, and the first half of the season under Mark Hughes was probably even worse. But still, they had 10 points from 17 games, taking them until 1 week before Christmas to register their first win. Listen, West Brom only have 8 points, but I promise you there is more resilience and backbone in this baggies team than that laughably hideous pie consisting of Jose Bosingwa, Chris Samba, Jermaine Genius, and Adel Rapt. Good West Ham, Birmingham 2009. This is a good West Ham team. They've done far better than I thought. I assumed David Boyes would have them drowning bottom of the league at Halloween, but the hype is bordering on ridiculous. I've seen some Hammers fans targeting Europe. No, settle down. Yes, 26 points from 17 games is good, but back in 2009, Birmingham City under Alex McLeish, even they had 27 points from 17 games, and were they really that good? No. Wolves Reading 2006. I believe in this Wolves team. It's a great selection of players, handpicked by Ronaldo's agent, bankrolled by a bunch of Chinese billionaires, and coached by one of the most underrated managers on the planet. But They are underperforming this season. Look at this, 22 points from 17 games. They're being outperformed by Reading in 2006, a plucky newly promoted team with an Irish core and managed by Steve Coppell, but they weren't that good. They got relegated to the next season. So Wolves, pull your finger out because 22 points, it's not good enough. Anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.